Alright guys, I'm going to show you how to disassemble Lee Enfield from Aries and show you a few little tips and tricks, things you might want to look out for inside. So to start with, I'm going to remove the bolt. This is where obviously your spring and your compression components are, so a lot of maintenance generally will be in this area. So flathead screw across. You'll find you can wind it out so far and then it won't want to pop up. If you push on the back of the cocking piece, you can push that forward, you tend to find it'll come loose itself and pop out. Press the trigger. If you find it's not coming out, press the trigger to drop the sear, and then you can do all your compression parts on there as and you need to. Now we make our way down to the front of the rifle. You need a 2mm there's a grub screw here, 2mm Allen key. Just a couple of turns to loosen it off. What you'll find is it will spin but it won't come out. There is another flathead here. That just slides off. Always find, make sure you put it back in just to make sure it stays together. Now, again, nice big flathead screw. My hand's getting in the way, but get the idea. It's actually quite an easy gun to work on, to be fair. Once you get used to it. Now this can be tricky because you've got to get over these lugs. Generally speaking, if you can get your screwdriver in, just kind of shimmy it over, it'll soon, he says, pop off. Okay. Again, pop your screw in so it stays together. First piece comes off. This piece won't pull out just yet because you've got the second band to take off. Again, flathead. See, that'll come off now. So that's the same as before. This also removes the sling swivel. This one's a bit easier. This will just slide off nice and easily. Now these are, I'll show you here, screws will only go in one way, so you shouldn't be able to mess that up. But again, I just like to keep it in there. Front piece, that can come off as well. So now your rifle should start to look like this. Now we need to look down here. Screw there and a screw here. .95% of the screws in this rifle are flathead. To keep it true to the real one. The only one that isn't is there is a Phillips screw on the hop unit, sort of chamber area, but it's just a single screw. Now see, that one's nice and easy to take out. This one can be a bit of a pain. So this goes through the trigger guard. hate flathead screws, but they are a product of the time, so you just have to get on with it. Okay, so once that screw's taken off, you can then pull up, he says. Your trigger guard. Pin down. No etc. It is. It could be tricky. Now, make sure when you do it, don't lose your spring. This is for the mag release, and it presses on the part inside. Let's keep them together. And keep the screws together. Okay, now this one you will need 2 flatheads, which can be tricky if you ain't got. Well, let me go and get a second screwdriver. Right. Now, it can be done without having 2 screwdrivers. You can just use another bit. So this is one of these kits. Novrich does a kit very much like this. This is just the same kit off of Amazon. Just a few slight variances, but the essential kit is the same. And it was about 5 or 6 quid cheaper. Anyway, there's 2 flatheads. Now this is, so as you're unscrewing it, one side actually screws into the other. I'll show you when I get it off. So you have to hold one side, and this is the tricky bit because you're trying to hold it one way and then screw it the other way. So a bit awkward, especially because of very small screws really. And as you'll see, the threading on them is tiny. It's such a fine thread. And I actually messed up the first time I did it and ended up cross-threading it slightly. It seems to have fixed itself now, but and that's another problem. You can always end up scratching it quite quickly. There we go, it's going there. So eventually screw itself. It's got it. There we go. So you've got a long piece, which is that one, and then on the other side you have this small piece, and they thread in. I say these threads are extremely fine, so be very careful. Right, so now those 2 bits are out of the way. You're pretty much there. Just need to pop these off, more so just so you don't lose them, because they are very small. So if you can take them off yourself, less chance of you losing them. And then trick to get the rifle, go down to the end of the barrel, push up. There you go. There's your stock. Oh, I need to take the scope off, don't I? Bloody hell. Forgot about this. This wasn't actually a T model. This was a standard rifleman version. And then I had to get these 2 plates installed. So I had to go to a proper gunsmith. and he put them on for me. But just a word of warning, if you buy the scope from Aries like I did, this is how it comes. This is what you get, the mount and the scope. It's nice, it's good. It's expensive, it was like 200 and something pound. But what it doesn't come with is these two little mounting blocks. I had to go to, I think it was Vector Optics. They do a mount, so it's just the mount, not the scope, but it does come with these. So I've effectively had to buy the mount again to get these two little things. I think it cost about 80 quid, something like that, just to get those two bloody mounts so I could attach the bloody scope. It's done now, so okay, whatever, but just a word of warning. It's a pain in the arse. Right, outer barrel off, 2.5mm. He says, here's 2.5mm. There we go. I have heard some people say that these are imperial sizes. They're not. They are metric. Would not make sense for them to do it in imperial when every other gun they do is in metric. So 2.5mm. You need a 2mm for the front grub screw, the front end. 2.5mm for these, and then you use a 1.5mm for the actual hop unit adjustment. Just so everyone is aware. Also with these, there are two different size antis. You have a long one and a shorter one. Shorter one on top, long one underneath. Once you take those two out, there we go. That can now be put to one side, give the cylinder housing a clean, but that's about it really. Okay, now this is how it works when you're using it. Okay, so here's your hop chamber inside here. When you rack the bolt and push the bolt forward, it sits like this inside the gun. Okay, pull the trigger, piston flies forward, air shoots out. You go to cock it. When you pull the bolt back, slides back, aligns with the feed tube on the receiver, which is this bit here. Aligns with the feed tube, the BB can go into it. You cock it forward, again push forward. One word of note, these screws, there's two, one either side, two little flatheads. When you first get it, I would highly advise you take it apart to this, take these out, and then put a drop of blue Loctite on, because they did, for me, back out on my first game, on my first Milsim weekend I was using it, they backed out. So on the all day Saturday was fine. Sunday, I think I was about 10 minutes into the game and basically just ejected all the BBs because they'd backed out and it just basically went too far and caused it to squirt the BBs everywhere, which was fun. So I've already locked out these, that's why it's a bit stiff. So yeah, just as a do it now so you don't have to worry later, I would highly advise you take the gun apart, and Loctite them. So this is your outer barrel, inner barrel. This isn't stock, this is a Sniper Mechanics VSR barrel. Something I saw a couple of few months ago. Someone was complaining that the gun was jammed, had BBs stuck in it. What had actually happened is, obviously you know, as I've shown, the inner barrel and the outer barrel slide independently. What had happened is the outer barrel had got that much crap down it. Okay, so much crap built up inside between the inner and the outer. it actually fixed the outer barrel in place. So as the person was cocking it, pulling as hard as they can, well, actually that's not really a thingy, but you kept pulling it backwards and forwards, it loosened itself that much that the inner barrel actually came out of the hop unit. And when we went to take it apart, there was about 15 BBs all lined up in the spring. So the barrel was stuck inside the inner down here. Pull the hop unit out, and that come out with about 20 BBs in it. So yeah, it's also worth giving this a clean and keeping an eye on this, making sure this comes out clean, because if this starts to get dirty, oily, this is going to get full of crud. Therefore, you want to give it a clean out to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, right, first Phillips head. This is the first Phillips head of the gun. In fact, I think it's the only Phillips. And removing this, then allows tell a lie, 4 Phillips here, forgot about them. And this is your actual hop chamber. So this is your adjustment screw, this is your hop arm, feed inlet, and then you've got 4 Allen keys. If you've ever took a hop apart, it's all pretty much as you would expect inside, nothing spectacular. I'm not going to take it apart because I've set the hop for the weight of ammo that I'm going to be using, so I'm going to keep it as is. But that is essentially how to get to the hop unit. And then to reassemble, it's basically back in the same direction. That hole lines up with that. So you've got your hop adjuster on top in the slit. The bottom lines up with that. Like your screw in. Just pinch it, don't torque down on it. Make sure the spring is installed. Outer barrel wise, you've got 2 holes. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter which way you put it. Just those holes will line up with these channel, that channel and that channel. And this damage here that you can see was because I put the longest grub screw on top instead of underneath. When you put the barrel back in the receiver, I put them the wrong way around. That caused that issue because it was rubbing. Hence why short one on top, long one on the bottom. Right, so let me just swap. Get rid of that now. Back to my flathead. Tiny little flatheads. That's typical, that doesn't fit. Okay. Get that ready. Oh, where do I need it? Loctite. Again, this is one of those things, do it now so you don't have to worry about it happening later. Tiniest little bit, you don't need a lot. It's literally just to stop it from backing itself out. Ugh, that's what I hate about these. Okay. Once you've got one on, you're pretty much sorted. Again, tiny dab. Take a bit of the pressure off by pushing it forward. Cinch it down. There you go. There slide there. Okay, so this front bit, nothing really needs looking at here. Just give this a bit of a clean out, bit of a, yeah, put a bit of grease down it or something like that. Okay, so make sure you've got the feed holes pointing down, adjustment screw pointing up. Slide it in. Now I don't bother putting any Loctite on these screws because I don't really need to be honest. Because they're not moving parts, so they shouldn't work themselves free. Just snug it. There you go, it's nicely snug down. Now it's a case of putting the furniture back on, the wood furniture. Start down here. Basically just pushes up into position. Okay. 2 little taps from earlier. Two. Now this is where you need good eyesight because you've got to pass it through one to line up with the hole on the other, the opposite side, and push it so it lines up so you can see it sat just below that plate. Once that's done, what I'd suggest is you put the screw in, back it out once or twice until you hear it click into the actual thread, then tighten it up, because like I say, it's such a thin, fine thread, it's so easily stripped. Get it tight until it spins the other side, and stick a flathead in it to essentially lock it off. And then tighten it down. There you go. That'll do. Doesn't need to be super tight. Just fixed. So next, trigger guard. We're also going to need to remember to have the spring, small through bolt, and then this screw. At first this can be tricky, he says. What you'll have is you'll have 2 lugs inside. You can just about see them, one there and then one here. I tend to find if you line up the magazine release one, you can kind of hold it better. Get it lined up with that, so then it'll sit in between the two. You can see that. Then get your trigger box, your trigger guard, line it up at the front. It fell off. Oh no, it hasn't. Okay. The trigger wants to sit on this back plate here. There'll be a spring that sticks out down in here. You can just about make it out. That just wants to sit against this black piece. Pull the trigger as well, just to kind of jimmy everything in. It's a bit of a case of pushing down, forward, pulling the trigger to try and move the sear out of the way so everything just drops in. Bit of perseverance, but it'll all go in. The hardest bit now, I've found, is getting this screw back through the trigger guard in such a way that it actually goes all the way through. Which, trust me, is not as easy as it sounds. Now and again, the stars aligned and it will just go through. It's about applying a bit of pressure. Awesome. Go in. There we go. The problem you have is you've got basically 4 holes to line up. You've got one here, one on this, then one on the inside, and then that one there. You've got to line all those 4 holes up for that screw to pass through and screw in to the outer plate. That one's nice and simple. No dramas. Just gets a bit tight towards the end. Where's that screwdriver? As you can see, it does get banged up quite easily. There. Okay. Top plate just fits under that hook, drops in, happy days. That one fits there. Just remember this bit at the front. The reason I'm using this screwdriver, by the way, and not my normal set, is to show that you can do this with one of these in the field, which I have done before. As I say, the first game I ever went to, I had that issue with the hop unit screws backing out, and I was luckily the event tech was there, and he was kind enough to let me use his van to fix my gun. So I was in the back of his van with tools that weren't mine, tools I'd never used before, sort of thing, you know, if you know what I mean. And I had to do it sort of in the field, as it were. So it is possible. Yeah, it's more than possible to do. It's not as difficult as what some people make out. It's just a bit of an arse sometimes, that's all. Get that tight so this is still loose. It's pulling it together. Don't want to go too far. Seems about right. Next one, your big front band. You know which is which because the front one's massive compared to the back one. This is capped, so it'll only go on one way. Make sure this bit is in as far as it can, so that those line up. Front cap, again, might need to just sort of jimmy it on a bit. There you go. As soon as it fits between those two prongs, you're fine. Tell you what, I've done something. I'm going to change it because I don't like it. Put them on facing opposite directions. Now this, functionally speaking, makes absolutely fucking zero difference. It's purely my fucking OCD kind of thing. I won't allow it. Didn't realise I could do that. Oh yeah, every day's a school day. So now, the screw heads will be on the same side. Again, functionally speaking, makes absolutely fuck all difference, but I couldn't let it. It'd annoy the shit out of me when I was holding it. That one, torque down as pretty much as hard as you can. Okay. Now this bit. So, fits over the end. Screws on. And then your 2.5mm Allen key. Snug that down. And if you've noticed, I've put it on upside down. That's not a problem because until you properly snug it, it doesn't make any difference. The challenging bit here is just trying to get it to line up properly with everything else. There we go, snug down. And that's it. Oh. Wrong thing. Pull the trigger to drop the sear. That will allow you to get in. Go with the sear. As soon as you drop that, it will stay in place. Put the bolt in, push forward again, take the pressure off, drop all the way through. Swing it down. Blimey. There we go. There we go. That was my bad for not letting it cock. Just me being a weak arse fucker. And that is how you disassemble and reassemble the gun. Again, so just to go over a couple of lot minor things. 1.5mm grub screw at the front here. 2.5 for the ones that sit here for the outer barrel. And then it's 1.5 for the hop adjustment, which you can see there. And just remember to put a bit of Loctite on those 2 screws. Don't go mad with these tiny screws because you will thread them really quickly. And that is it. Again, it's not as hard as what people make it out to be. And these guns are actually built pretty well. For saying they're Aries, they are actually pretty decent. And like I say, you can do it with one of these. You know, I could have done it all with one of these, but I had that to hand, so why not use it? Just to make it myself a bit easier at home.